Oh, what's good, y'all? This your boy Z, and I just want to talk about um abortionism and why I'm against it. And I just want to thank everybody that's going to be tuning in to this live. I just want to thank everybody that's. I just want to thank all my subscribers for the support of this channel. I want to thank all my IG and Facebook friends and family that have been tuning into my lives because last night was crazy, y'all. For last night, I had went live on my IG account, on my social media account, and I tried to discuss this topic on a belief view. I'm not gonna say religion because I'm not a religious person at all, but I tried to go live and I read a scripture and I was trying to discuss the situation, and suddenly my life just went off completely. Suddenly, I don't know what it is because normally when I go live on IG, it normally never just cuts off. But when I is only when I started praying and I started going to scripture what God says about life. Because in the scripture I read from Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, and it just talks about how God automatically gives a child its language that's going to one day learn how to speak. He automatically gives it automatically knows the name just from what the parents are going to give it. It automatically knows your life, right? God already knows the purpose of your life. If you was to pretty much, the God already knows the child that's going to be born into the parent, but it's up to the parents if they're going to keep it or not, and if they're going to live up to it. And I also talked about Mary and Joseph, and I said that on part two, but the first part it just cut off completely, y'all. And that normally never happens. Then my lights start going in and out, like it was just like the devil was pretty much angry at me. Okay, so the devil was mad at me, and but I had to keep going. And for whoever else don't come into this live, I'm gonna have it available for you. But again, I just want to make this discussion. Anybody could join in because I agree with the students that pretty much marched in DC. For all the fans and families that was out there supporting the movement, all the organizations, I stand by you because I feel I'm all for pro life. When somebody aborts their child, it's almost like murdering them. I'm one of the ones who believe if you're gonna abort your child, you might as well just be strangling them, shoot them, or stab them with a knife with your own hands. Because when you decide to kill a child, you're killing a boy and girl who can't speak up for themselves. A baby can't talk at all. They have to eventually, when they get older, in between 2 and 3 or 4 years old, they have to learn how to speak, whether it be English, whether it be Spanish, French, or whichever language of the family they're born into. They gotta learn how to speak those languages. And when you decide to not have the child, okay, you pretty much stopping what could be the next scientist. You're killing what could be the next great who could be the next president of the United States, the next great athlete, somebody that could invent things that can help society. Like I said on my social media, on my post, you'd be killing the next Nipsey Hussle. You could be killing the next Condoleezza Rice, Oprah Winfrey. Okay, you could be getting rid of the next Jackie Chan. Okay, the next great actress, actor, inventor, entertainer, the next great musician when you decide to have a child. And people gotta understand, man, the devil is real. See what the devil will do. The devil will create something mentally in a woman's mind after they didn't got raped, molested, sexually abused out of their will. They'd have been drugged, and some man or pervert done or pedophile done impregnating them, especially when they in between 14 and 18 years old, or 14 and 17 when they're minor age. They pregnant with a baby inside of them. The devil will put that in them mentally to be ashamed of it. So I'm not gonna have this child because of what happened. Okay, but that's not fair to the baby that they do that. But I mean, it's their choice. Now I am somebody who agrees that we are in a free country, that a woman should have the choice to do what you want to do, but at the same time too, they got to think about why they're aborting the baby, why you decide to kill this child. And it says God shall not kill from a Bible. But and again, if so, for somebody that don't believe in faith, you gotta understand that you killing a baby. You killing a child that can't fend for themselves. They can't. You killing a child that can't say, "Oh, mommy, can you please let me live with grandma or grandpa? Mommy, can you at least let me stay with my uncle and auntie? Mommy, can you allow my your next door neighbors to take care of me? Or mom, if you and your family don't want me, can I at least go into foster care so I can at least try to be raised by another mother, another woman that can't conceive a child, whose husband been trying and they can't conceive a child? Can I at least go with them?" So when you abort a baby, at least before you abort the baby, at least try to give the baby out for adoption. So there's a loving family who do care and want kids. And because they can't have kids, the woman's ovaries can't work. The eggs are not fertilizing from the semen that's going inside her body. At least give them a chance. It's just like, for example, man, when I did that live about Colin Kaepernick, Colin Kaepernick's lucky to even be adopted by a great family. That woman couldn't have no more children. She wanted another child, and they took care of Kaepernick. So I understand why in that documentary he tried to demify, make his parents have to be something they ain't. But I understand, man, there's a lot of kids who were born into families they didn't ask to be. And that's another thing too. These children don't have the choice to be raised into a certain family. They don't have the choice to choose which mother they're gonna be coming out of, and they don't get the chance to choose their fathers. They don't. Again, their fathers either them. That's not. They don't have that choice. They have to go through that, and I understand that it's hard. It's bad enough that a lot of these kids are getting raised into families that are abusing them, mistreating them. They got to watch their daddy beat their mom upside the head. They got to be going into some of their moms being druggies and not taking care of them. Shouts out to Joey Fox. That's somebody I know personally. I used to play football with him in Jordan. He said on a Vlad TV interview, man, his mom was an alcoholic. And he had to take care of himself. Everything he learned out there from the streets, he had to learn on his own. But thank God Fox was able to do what he'd been doing, and his music career went the way he wanted to go because this man been able to open up his own black-owned shop. Fox has been able to take care of himself, and he's talented. But there's other children like him that went through the same thing who don't have the talent he got. And again, they got to go through life different ways. But again, people need to think about this, man. Think about life. Think about what would have happened if your parents decided to abort you. You wouldn't be alive here, listen to me, or even allowed to enjoy the things that you enjoy now. And again, thank you to all that's going to be listening. That's actually going to take the time to listen, because I am going to have this posted on this YouTube channel. But again, y'all, I just want to make my point clear that I support pro-life. Okay, because being a man of God, God gave his only begotten son. God had to sacrifice his son so that we can be saved and we don't got to go to hell. But just imagine, I'm gonna tell y'all like I told my social media following, right? Everybody that's under the sound of my voice, and I want everybody to really understand what I'm getting ready to tell you. Okay. Now, for those who believe in God like I do, you should already know this. But for the unbelievers, right? Just imagine, okay, that if when God told Mary, "You're gonna have my child, I'm not gonna put myself beside you so you can have my only begotten son," so that when Jesus is born, Jehovah is born, and this is going to be the Messiah, and that when the Messiah is born, he's going to save the world, because that's how much, because I forgive humans. I forgive again, even though humans wrong, even though Adam and Eve disobeyed me and they listened to Lucifer that was in that snake and told Adam to bite of the forbidden fruit, even though all these things are happening, okay, I'm going to send my only begotten son to save the world. So Mary, you're going to have my child. So I want y'all to think about this, right? Mary was told that she's going to birth Jesus. Just imagine if Mary would have told Jesus, God, this is too much for me to do. I don't want to go through the pain of conceiving this child. I'm just happy it being just me and Joseph. I don't want to have this baby no more. Imagine if she would have said that to God, the Most High, the one who created the whole entire world within 7 days. If she would have said that God and pissed God off, and God decided to just abort, okay, not had a child no more and choose somebody else, don't you know that we could have been doomed? We would have all been going to hell. Every last one of us would have been doomed. But Mary decided to be a woman of faith, and she believed in God's message, and she believed in God and what he told her. She decided to have Jesus. And because Mary decided to have Jesus and not abort Jesus, this is the reason why when we die, we get to go to heaven. There's a heaven for everybody when we die, because Mary decided not to abort the Son of God. Mary decided not to abort God's only begotten Son that he decided not to abort God. God said, I'm going to sacrifice myself, but before I sacrifice myself, I'm going to teach everybody, right? Because Mary chose not to abort God, thus the good word has been spread through the disciples of Peter, John, Paul, right? All these disciples, Daniel, right? They was able to, God's 12 disciples were able to preach the word. Despite Judas betraying them, they was able to preach that message, and they was able to go forth because Mary decided not to abort the Son of God. So to all the women out there, and first of all, if you're a mother, I commend you. I commend you for having a child. Whether you decide to give it up to foster care, to adoption or not, at least you decide to give the child a chance to live. So if you're a mother or you somebody who gave birth and you decided not to abort the child, again, I commend you. I support you. I'm happy for you. I want to say thank you so much, because you at least gave somebody, a boy and girl, a chance to at least live their life, to at least grow up knowing what it's like to be a kid and to experience the good things kids experience, to be able to have a best friend, to be able to go to school through elementary school to 12th grade, and off to college, to be a chance to experience going to prom, going to middle school, going to these dances, getting a chance to experience Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter, getting a chance to experience the summertime, experience the snow. You gave a little boy and a little girl that chance to at least be raised in your family, to know who their grandparents are, to know who their uncles and aunties, their brothers and sisters. You gave that child a chance, despite the problems they may have went through, okay? Because there's been a lot going down, despite whether it was an abusive household or not. You at least gave that child opportunity to try to fend for themselves as they got older. But to the ones that didn't, I forgive you. God forgives you, but you got to understand what you did. And see, when people stand before God one day, God's going to show you what you did. When you aborted that child, God's going to show you what that child could have became. That's the type of God I believe in. Then when everybody stands before God, and for the man who just stood by their girlfriend or wives or baby, your concubine, whoever it is, decision to abort the child, God's going to show you what that child could have been. And God's going to tell you if that child would have been an athlete, would have been a scientist, would have been the president of the United States. They're going to show you the child's whole life that would have happened had you not aborted it. And you have to live with that guilt. Okay? See, some women that do abort the child, again, that hurts them so much. That hurts them deeply because they took away a life. They took away a soul. Okay? Everybody down here has a soul. And your soul will live on forever. Yeah, the baby going to be up in heaven with God. Just because you abort the God don't mean that God going to still have that baby in heaven. So that's the good thing. That's the only good thing about children. Children are still saved because they're under their parents' care. The child didn't choose to commit suicide. The mother or the father decided that it was best for them to abort the child. But again, it's sad. And I feel when I see the numbers, I brought up when I went live yesterday on my ground, over 2,777 and counting deaths all over the world. And this is 2 million. Yeah, 2,777,000 and counting of abortions over the last period, over this year, over the last year alone. Just over the last however years. That's a lot of deaths. That's a lot of children that's been killed. That's just lost their lives. Okay, so when those people marched for pro-life, I feel them. I stand with them. I understand how they feel. I understand what they're going through. I understand their pain. They're crying out. There are people that are crying. There are Christian organizations over there. There's people from the churches out there. They're out there praying. So again, I want to say congratulations to, I'm just saying, man, I applaud the people who went out there and marched. And you know what's crazy? You got Biden, you got Kamala Harris that's trying to stop that. They feel, okay, well, let's give people the same reason, the same choice that Roe made in 1770. But you got to say, okay, yeah, women got a right to choose to abort the child, right? They have their free rights as a women, but at the same time, too, at least bring awareness to it. Because, see, I come from an era when I was born. I was born in 1990. I'm 31 years old. In a couple of weeks, I'll be turning 32 on February the 3rd. I come from an era where safe sex was actually advertised on TV. Yeah, there might have not been a Trojan commercial or a Magnum commercial or a lifestyle condom commercial, but safe sex was promoted through family television, such as Full House, Growing Pains, Boy Meets World, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Okay, you even had shows like My Wife and Kids. Okay, shows like New York Undercover that talked about safe sex and talked about childbirth. All right, I come from that era where young folks was aware of what's going on, even through militia in the hood. You was aware of what happens when you give birth to a child, and you was aware of what happens when you abort the child. There's been movies that's on Lifetime, for example, that talks about abortionism through real time, real life situations. So again, I understand fully of what it's like. I understand, you know what I'm saying? What I understand what it feels if somebody feels guilty about aborting a child. Okay? Because believe it or not, I got my own family whose name I'm not gonna mention. They actually went through abortion, they actually aborted their children, and they were guilty of that. All right. So again, y'all, I just want to take this time to just acknowledge that, man. I just want to thank anybody that's gonna join this live, right? And again, I thank you so much. But this has to be said, y'all. This has to be heard. And I'm not. Matter of fact, let me see. Do I have that scripture? Matter of fact, let me read to y'all something real quick, man. Yeah, let me find that scripture. You see, yeah, y'all, I'm a man of God. And understand, I've gotten a lot of haters in the past, right? Who talked about me when I respond to certain people. When I respond to certain people on my YouTube channel, because those are people who need to be checked. They out here spreading hatred, they spreading lies, and it's my job to inform them where they're wrong or not. I'm not calling myself perfect, but again, they know who they are, right? So let me read to you the chapter I read on my live, okay? Because again, I want everybody to get the full experience. Jeremiah chapter 5, Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly. So before God formed before the God blessed the man or woman to have a fetus, an embryo growing in the woman's belly, it says, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctify thee, and ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So in other words, according to God, when you're born to actually spread his word, whether you choose to do it or not. That's what God is saying. Verse 6, then said I, Lord God, behold, I cannot speak, for I'm a child. So like I said before, the baby don't have a chance to, babies don't have they can't speak yet. This is not Stewie Griffin on Family Guy. Again, I love Family Guy. Shout out to Seth MacFarlane, one of the greatest animators, next to Matt Groening and the South Park animators, right? Y'all know Stewie Griffin can actually talk on there. He has the ability as a baby to actually talk and speak to Lois and Peter Griffin, and to Meg and Brian and the dog, right? And even Chris, the son. But their children don't have that ability. They gotta wait till they're 2 or 3 years old to start talking. At least try to mimic what's heard to them. So a child can't speak. So when a mother or a woman decides to abort that son or daughter that's growing inside them and come out, that child can't tell the doctors not to. No, doctor, don't do this. Don't cut. Don't get rid of me. They don't have that choice. So when you abort a child, the child can't fend for himself. They can't speak. They can't say, "Spare my life." They can't say that. Now continue in verse 7. But the Lord said unto me, say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. So whatever language the child is born in, the God's gonna give that language to, gonna give the ability to mimic that language through being raised by a parent. Okay. So again, so at least if you don't want the child, give that child to adoption, and let a parent, a family that's willing, more than willing, somebody who can't have kids have that child. But let's continue on. Verse 8, be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, said the Lord. Verse 9, then the Lord put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And the Lord said unto me, behold, I have put my words into thy mouth. So eventually the baby that's not born, they're going to have the chance to speak, and they're going to have the chance to be raised. Verse 10, see, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to not throw down, to build and not to plant, and to build and to plant. Verse 11, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Jeremiah, what thou seest thou? And I said, thy rod of thy almost thee. So just as Jeremiah had his just as God prophesied what Jeremiah gonna be, God has a plan for each child's life. Okay, God has given each child ability of their own gifts that they're eventually they're gonna be developing. Okay, So people got to understand, man, we got to save these children. We got to protect this younger generation, because without kids, there can't be life. Now I'm going to give it to you from an animal analogy, right? Look at these animals, right? Let's just say, for example, okay, I know everybody done watched the Animal Planet. Everybody's been to a zoo. You've seen a farm, right? So you've seen all these animals, right? But let's just say these carnivore animals like the tiger, for example. And I bring up the tiger because he's one of the only animals, or the only few animals, if not the only one, that will actually eat his own cubs that's being born. Because a male tiger is just that vicious. Okay, a Bengal tiger that's 500 something pounds, over that wide, yeah, they're vicious. A male tiger, and you could look this up on Google, will eat his own cub if the mother don't fight back. So the mother has to fight or try to get her cubs away from the father, because the father will eat his own cub if he's hungry, if he's not hungry enough, especially if he's struggling to eat and find prey. So just imagine if all these animals, especially the carnivore ones, so it means the crocodiles, right? The sharks, the fish, some of the fish, these lions, these hyenas, panthers, some of these coyotes, these wolves. Let's just decide if they decided when they cubs are younger being born, they just go eat their own cubs that were born out the mom's body, dogs included. They gonna eat the litter of the other animal they made it with. Don't you know most of these animals would go extinct? There will be no more polar bears, no more grizzlies. There'll be none of these animals that we used to see and that we love and enjoy every day. You would have no more pets if that was the case. But these animals understand its purpose. They there to reproduce, and recreate. The male lion has his own has the lioness. It has its own family. Okay, these wildebeests mate so they can keep their pack and going. Same way with the wolves. An animal's purpose is to exist and recreate, repopulate, so they can keep itself going. Because these animals decide to eat their own young, most of these there will be no more animals. They'll go in extinction like the dinosaurs did. Whether you believe it or not, wherever there's a lot of theories and conspiracies on dinosaurs, but even the dinosaurs was reproducing, supposedly according to science. These animals' job is to reproduce. How else are we gonna continue to get these cows? We gonna get the milk from the cows? A lot of y'all like eating pork, right? Well, the pig's job is to reproduce. So the farmer's job is to continue these animals to continue to mate with each other. That's the farmer's job. So you continue to have your eggs. You continue to have your margarine. So you can continue to have your pork, your steak, your beef, your chicken, right? Like these roosters, these chicken that lay eggs, they're to reproduce. That's the animal's job. It's part of the circle of life. So us as humans, the meaning of life, your job is when you're born into a family, your job is to and I'm speaking to the men right now. Men, your job is to have a son or daughter that will continue your legacy when you die on, because everybody gonna pass on one day. There's not a single person on earth that's gonna everybody gonna die. Ain't nobody gonna live for over 200,000 years. That's not how the human life is supposed to go. That's not how life works. Everybody that's under the sun, everybody that's breathing oxygen gonna die one day, me included. So I'm believing God for me a wife, so I can have my seeds, and I can teach them, I can raise them the way they should be, and one day they're gonna have my grandchildren, and then my grandchildren gonna have their children, and continue your last name. The goal, gentlemen, for you being a man and the leader of your household is to reproduce. Okay, is to pretty much have a baby, raise that baby, and that baby gonna continue on your last name and continue to reproduce. They ain't gonna have another child. That's the meaning of life, right? You dig the well, it's their job to continue that well, and so forth and so forth. Okay, me being a Hankins, my grandfather brought my dad and his and his 3 other brothers and his 2 sisters, and his other brothers and sisters had other children. Okay, same thing with my mom's side of the family. Okay, and there was 7 of them, but they got kids. Their kids got kids. So my grandparents, like my big mama, had like 6 generations of family before she died. Her and my grandpa John. And on my grandmama's side of the family, I think it's like 7 or 8 of them. But again, that's the meaning of life. So when you abort a baby, you depopulizing your family. Okay? Whether you choose to have another one or not, you wasn't ready for that one. Again, you killed a child that was supposed to reproduce your family, your legacy. So men, understand this. Young and especially young men. That's 16, 17 was high school, right? I understand y'all got hormones, you're young, but again, you go inside of a girl, especially without a condom, and she tells you you're on birth control, she's on birth control or not. If you nut inside that girl, just know that you can have a seed growing. That girl is going to eventually get pregnant in 9 months. And when you start seeing that baby bump, she got to make a decision whether she going to keep that child or not. And she decides to abort that child, especially if her parents tell her to abort the child, remember, you just as guilty as she is. Because you didn't really fight to try to keep that child going. I even saw a movie, right? Now I forget the name of this movie, but it's real, real sad, right? And in this movie, there was a man who was a young man that was a wrestler. He was like 16, 17 years old in high school. This was in Florida. The movie based on Florida. Now, this is a black man that made love to a Mexican Hispanic woman. Now, I myself personally, I love my Latinas. I love Latin women, and that's who I've mostly been dating over the last 6, 8, 9 years. Well, last 6, 7 years. But anyways, so there's a young black man. He was wrestling, right? So, he has fun with his woman, and the first part of the movie was about him and dating this girl, right? So then they have sex, and then later on in the movie, she winds up getting pregnant. Now, here's where the problem goes. The Hispanic girl, the Mexican woman, the Latin girl decide that she wants to keep the baby. But the young man say he's not ready to have a child because he wants to continue his career, and the child is only going to slow him down. So he tried to convince the girl not to have the baby. But the girl decided, no, I'm going to have this child. So because the girl decided to have a child, that young man went crazy. So crazy that it wound up eventually putting him in jail. He was so mad and so angry that he started spiraling out of control. And then even started when he started having injuries. He wound up, I guess, dislocating his shoulder, or he got injured during wrestling in high school, so he couldn't wrestle no more. He started spiraling out of control. He started drinking, started smoking weed, started rebelling with his parents, all because the girl decided to have the child. He loved the girl to death, but eventually, at the end of the movie, he wound up choking the girl to death and killing her. But the baby still survived. Thank God that baby still survived. But he wound up choking that girl to death because she decided to give birth to that child. Ladies, this brings me to you. Watch who you having your child with and watch the man that impregnates you. If you going with a man and you know is a gangster and you bring his baby into the world, just know what you're getting yourself into. Okay? And I'm not going to stop nobody. It's not me to say who you don't have to date. I'm not going to tell you who not to date. That's your choice, but know who you're getting yourself into. If you having a baby by a man that you know is abusive and not treating you right and dog you out, okay, just know you got to raise that baby by yourself. So once you have the child, just know what you're getting yourself into. Okay? I'm just telling you, ladies, man. If you done got molested and raped and you impregnated right now, think about the child before you decide to abort the child. Okay, if you don't ready to have a child, at least think about giving that child to adoption, right? Again, you have the choice to pretty much raise the child the way you want to raise it, him or her. You have the choice to have the child or not, but just think about that, ladies. Okay? If you're not ready to have a baby, put a condom on. There's condoms for women and there's condoms for men. Very rarely you see any women having a condom. Now, I admit that I'm not a virgin. That's one of my regrets in life, is I lost my virginity when I was young, when I was in my younger days. But at least when the woman had sex with, she didn't get pregnant. I used the condom. I made sure I used the condom. And out of all the times I had sex, even when I was going inside the woman, I still remember to get a condom on because I wasn't ready to have a baby just yet. I figured I care about my life that much. I care about my career. I'm gonna have a child when I'm married, so I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm sticking to that. Okay. Yes, I got children. I got godchildren that I take care of like my own, right? But when I bring a seed into this world, okay, me and my wife are gonna be married. That means I'm gonna put a ring on her finger. I'm gonna get down on one knee like this, and when I tell that lucky woman, I want to marry you, right? I'm gonna wait till we to officially marry in matrimony. Okay. So when the deacon or the pastor that's marrying us and doing our ceremony, when we both say our vows, and I say that I do, and she said that she do, okay. When we in our honeymoon and it's in our early days of being married, and if I pregnant her, things will be right because we're married. I want to bring my child into a marriage where both parents, where my son or daughter are gonna have both parents in their lives. Okay, That's me doing my part. Okay? Because I don't want to bring a child to this world and then the girl I impregnate is gonna have regrets about me, and she don't want to have a child into a man that's not treating her right. Because you got some women who think like that. They don't want to. Their lives are so miserable. They in a bad situations that they rather just abort the child so the child don't have to live in misery. But at the same time, too, if you decide to have that child, okay, despite the child born into poverty, born into misery, born into a third world country where it's bad, at least the child have a chance to at least grow up and have at least a chance to try to make it out of what they're into. Okay. So this is why I'm pro-life. And by the way, I'm not a Democrat. I'll tell you off the top. This is the reason why I'm not going to support the Democratic Party, because they're against pro-life. They're all for abortionism. I can't get down with that. Because we know it's crazy. Biden and Kamala Harris, right? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they're trying to stop the people that's protesting for anti-abortionism to make stricter laws on abortionism. But yet Biden has never once enforced laws and rules that's bringing awareness about safe sex. The man is not doing what he can to try to inform these kids or try to form programming of putting sexual awareness into TV. He's not bringing awareness to abortion at all. He's not trying to form a curriculum where men and women, boys and girls, can learn about what happens in childbirth, and you can decide if you're going to have you're going to decide about abortion or not. He's not pushing that at all. He's not doing his part to try to bring sexual awareness, safe sex, into the forefront. Okay? So I want y'all to think about that. I'm not a Democrat. No, I'm not a Republican either. I'm not right wing or left wing. I'm a man of God. Okay, my beliefs is with God, but I don't support none of that. I'm not Democrat no more because of that. Right? So when it's time to vote again, I'm officially changing my class. Yes, I was raised Democrat my whole life because I was born into a Democrat household, but I'm not supporting the Democrats no more. They go against everything that this Bible here represents. The Democrat support and all for it, and I can't get down with that. That's my decision. Okay, everybody got your own decision. You got your own beliefs. You could choose to be a Republican or Republican. That's on you. I'm neither. I'd rather go an entire class entirely, and I'm on record stating that even on this I got videos on this YouTube, even on my social media. For my black folks, we need to choose our own class anyway. We need to choose our own political candidate. We don't need to be Democrat or Republican because they're not for us anyway. But that's just how I feel. Okay. But anyways, man, I just want to say, oh, what's up, bro? Yeah, my day is going well, man. As you can see, I had a great day. Yo, Ohio Kid 8834. Yeah, my day was good. But yeah, no, that's just how I feel, y'all. And I thank God in heaven every day and night. I pray. I pray for my mom. I pray for my parents. I thank God that my parents decided to keep me and not abort me. Because if they decided to abort me, I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't be here doing this content for you. I wouldn't be here telling the truth. I wouldn't be here at all if my parents would have went that route. If they would decide to abort me, I would not be here at all telling you about anything. Okay, I wouldn't be a chance I wouldn't know who my family was. I wouldn't know who my grandparents was, my brothers and sisters was. I wouldn't get a chance to play sports. None of these things that other children who are born got the chance to experience. I wouldn't know what life is. I'll probably be somewhere in heaven, but I wouldn't be here on earth. Had my mom decide to abort me. I thank God that I was born into parents that were married when they had me and they wanted to have me. My mom even said, "You was a gift of God." We prayed. Me and your father prayed for us to get pregnant, and God gave us you. So I thank my mom every day for that, and for my auntie Linda for help delivering me, because that was special. My auntie Linda was a nurse active at that time, and she helped deliver me out of my mom's womb at Kaiser out here in LA. So I thank them for that. Okay, I thank him now. I got a chance to experience life. But there's a child out there that don't have that chance. There's a child that's going to be born that's getting ready to get killed who can't defend themselves. As we speak right now, there's a woman who is ashamed that wasn't ready to have a child that has sex anyway, and they let a dude, him and her and dude, decide to get pregnant. They wasn't ready to have the baby, and they get ready to kill a child. Right now, there's a boy and a girl getting ready to get killed and slaughtered right now as a newborn. That's never gonna have the chance to experience the life that I lived and somebody else lived. So I want everybody to think about that. When it's time to vote, vote pro-life. I want everybody under the sound of my voice and look into my eyes. When it's time to go vote, vote pro-life. Because right now, as we speak, in whichever country around the world, there's a newborn girl or boy that's finna get ready to get killed by the doctor because they mother, their parents, or whoever else decided not to raise them. They don't want a child because their life is miserable because of a tragedy. They got pregnant, was ready to get pregnant, and thus they get ready to kill the baby. At least give a child a chance to live. Okay. So I want everybody to think about that right now. Okay. Let's listen to the advice on the sound of my voice. Think about that. Okay. Think about what you're gonna do. Because again, if you're gonna abort a child, you might as well kill him yourself. That means when the baby's born, you might as well take a pistol and just pow. You might as well take a knife and just shh. You might as well choke the baby and kill him yourself if you're gonna do that. Now, shouts out to my boy Gary Soros, Freedom City Church. All right, he told me when he was active duty in Afghanistan serving for our military. He's an ex-engineer for the for the army front line. He told me that out there in Afghanistan, Iran, right? If there's a mother and a man or woman that committed adultery, having sex before marriage, they automatically kill the child being born. They just have it. No, you don't even bury the child. They just throw it in the water and let the fetus and the corpse just rot in the water. It's disgusting. But he told me that's what's going on right now in the Middle East. And again, when I found out how many children getting aborted in America, my heart cried. That hurt me to my soul. How many babies are not gonna get the chance to live? We don't give the child again. So I'm gonna say this before I end the live. A newborn baby doesn't have a chance to choose which womb it's gonna be born out of, and they don't get the chance to choose which family it's gonna have to be raised by. So when a man and a woman decide they're gonna abort that child, a child can't tell the doctor, they can't tell the parents, they can't speak like a Stewie Griffin, like a Rollo from the Cleveland show. They don't get a chance to speak as a baby and tell their parents, no, I want to live. Doctor, can you please give me for adoption? Can you at least allow my grandparents to raise me since my parents don't want me? Can I at least go to another family? They don't have that choice. All right. It's our bad enough it is a newborn, you got to feed it, you got to take care of it because they're defensive. They're not old enough to take care of themselves yet. But these babies don't have the choice. They're defenseless. They can't speak yet. They got to get older and learn the language they're going to learn. All right. But I thank everybody that's listening to this live. I thank everybody that's going to be watching this on my channel. I'm going to have it available for you to look at. But that's just what I want to cover. And to my social media fam, I'm sorry that my Instagram line cut out. That was not me at all. That was Satan because I'm going through real spiritual warfare, especially this season as I'm growing as a leader and I'm getting deeper in God, right? And I'm developing disciples. By the way, if you're in the California Brainerd Park area, I'm having a group every Thursdays at 7 p.m. DM me or inbox me for or hit me up on here for the address. But again, me being a man of God and me one day getting ready to preach and going to Bible college so I can learn, so I can get my AA degree, the devil's fighting me hard. And he don't want me to tell you this at all. Okay? Because the devil gonna create a situation, like I said earlier. The devil will make these women feel ashamed about having a child. Right? Yeah, he gonna make you have you're gonna have sex, you can be having a pleasure. But after you having that good sex, after that man you got involved with and took it down and hit that right spot, right? Whether you didn't got it, wherever else you got it from, after the sex is over and 9 months come, the devil gonna put that guilt in your brain. Yeah, look at you having a child. You know you ain't ready for it. You know you can't take care of that child. See, the devil's all mental. Let me tell you what the devil does. The devil will put guilt in a woman's life, in a woman's mind, especially after she got molested by somebody like R. Kelly or Brother Polite, who I covered on this channel, that has sex with these 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds, right? So they pregnant. They already got to go through a baby they're not ready for. So the devil put in mind, you shouldn't have that child. Kill that child. You're not ready to have a child yet. Why should you bring a child into a world where you can't take care of him? That's how the devil thinks. So, ladies, I want you to think about that. If you don't want to have a child, wrap it up. The man not the only one that has a condom. You have a chance to put a condom on too. Again, we need more sex education. We need more we need in these schools in the curriculum. If I had a chance If I was running for president, governor, or senator, I'm making so that these elementary schools, these middle schools, or these middle schools and these high schools will put safe sex education in their curriculum and teach people about abortionism and about childbirth. That's what I would have. So at least these 17, 16-year-olds, right, can at least understand what it's like once you get pregnant and if you have a choice about childbirth and what can happen if you do abort the child. So they'll make a choice and they'll have a conscious decision. That's what I would do. But again, the devil's down. He's gonna put that in people's minds, right? Don't get me wrong. Now, when you sin, it's gonna feel good. Oh, you gonna get that pleasure, man. You're gonna be able to bust that nut and get the satisfaction you want. But just know that if she don't take the birth control she's supposed to on time, or you do it out of condom, and you forget to pull out you nut inside of her, just know it's a baby getting ready to come, and you're gonna have to cross that bridge. Anyways, y'all, I'm not gonna take up too much more of your time because I do gotta go. I wish I could push this live longer, but again, thank you so much for joining this live, right? For those who joined in, despite the distractions. Okay, I'm your boy ZTR. As always, stay blessed, stay tuned, and I'll see you soon. I love you. Good night.